All right, good morning, everybody. How are we doing on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon for some of you, morning for me, um, maybe night for some of you as well. Double R, he's in France, so Tommy, it's like mid-afternoon. Good day from around the world. Let's get into what we're looking for today. Open up Epic Pen real quick. So last night, the market was pretty much just hanging out towards the top, right? Um, Eventually, it broke down, and we saw some, just some late day liquidation. So as far as overnight inventory goes, and you can see here's the settle. Some days I won't mark the last. A lot of times you'll see the settle and the last, and lately I've been marking both of them because we've been getting really volatile days and uh, up and down. The settle and the last typically tend to have a fairly wide spread, but this time yesterday, the settle and the spread were only 3/4 of a point apart from each other, so there's no need to mark both of them, and I stick with the settle. Um, to find this information, if you just go to the CME website while we're talking about it, so don't forget, and type in CME Group Market Equities, and then find the S&P. Once you go to it once, Google Chrome just takes you right to it. Click on settlements, and it will tell you everything from yesterday, right? So here's the settle 505, the last 575, the high, the low, the volume and
Is
stuff
the
like that.
last the close?
The last is the last trade before the market closes for an hour. Good afternoon, Double R. Thanks for being in the room and on the YouTube. Steve Mills, what's up, man? Let's get after it. But yeah, so the last is just the last trade. So like a lot of times, even on this day, the last trade was actually up here. And so, after the market technically closes at 4 o'clock Eastern time, the settlement period, as they call it, thanks, Double, they're able to push the price up or cover price up higher or lower depending upon. So it's just it's just good to know when they're apart, but when they're 3 ticks apart from each other, it's not that big of a deal.
Is the settlement at 4:30?
The settlement's at 4 o'clock.
Oh, 4 o'clock. Okay. Yeah, I feel like I always think that the market closes at 4, but then I feel like it trades till 4:30, and then it takes like an hour off or something weird.
So the way that it works is it trades until 4:15, and then it closes for 15 minutes, and then it opens up again at 4:30 and trades till 5, and then is closed from 5 until 6, and then opens up again at 6.
Jeez, what in the world? Okay.
Yeah, because well, so when you think about it, all the orders, like, so you have all these brokers, and they've got these big orders that they have to get out by the end of the day sometimes, right? And so someone comes in, they're like, "Hey, I got 1,000 lots on the ES that I need in by the end of the day." Well, the market closes at 4, and typically most retail traders don't have the margin to continue trading through settlement or to hold positions, and so that's when they start getting closed, right? And a lot of times, by 4:15 is when a lot of brokers want their people out of positions, because in between 4:15 and 4:30, you'll still, if you watch your DOM, you'll still see it move up and down until it opens up again, back at 4:30, and then, but I mean, and some orders are getting moved around, but it's kind of like a reshuffle situation. And then at 5, they open back up and they kind of just settle back down. A lot of times the settlement period is pretty muted. It doesn't really do much. But when we have volatile days, then you start to see some more action and people start to participate a little bit more after hours, because they know that a lot of times after hours you don't have big money, you don't have retail, and so typically you're just playing against orders that are just already in the market, and you can just kind of bully the market around. So they just move the market, and a lot of times during settlement you'll see it'll do like this number. Like if it is volatile, it'll be like big swings, but they'll all pretty much be back to around the same spot. And all it is just kind of cleaning up all the orders that they left for the rest of the day. So if a broker got like 1,000 orders, said, hey, I need these in by the end of the day, then the end of the day comes 4 o'clock and you've still got 250 lots that you need to get into the market. Well, you're going to try to, get that person the best price because you want to keep their business, because that's how brokers make their money, right? They don't make their money by you making money. They make their money by you trading. I think that's that commission. And so if they can keep your business, then good for them. But if they can't, then look elsewhere. Hey, what's up, man? Been a minute. Yeah, 4 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, we're actually in the Zoom on the Discord if you want to jump in there. But yeah, so overnight inventory, it looked to be, fairly long for the most part compared. It's over the settle. Most of our volume is pretty much right on the settle. So you can kind of tell like every time last night that it would get to the settle, it would just kind of get bought, 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 and then it finally broke, and then it really started to break down. Not much volume down here, and you can see we're kind of one time framing up off. So there's probably a lot of people overnight that are short and getting a lot of short covering. Um, the open today, right? We opened here and pretty much just started coming straight down. We started to hang out about around the 200 SMA, which we talked about in the trade report as a good spot to probably buy the dip and a good spot to act as support. Never got down to the 60 level. The 60 level here for me is kind of like that line in the sand where if we get below that 60 level and start to hang out, there's some downside that can come. The volume you can even tell is today is pretty weak, and the market's acting extremely weird today. As like the overall market, the ES is really just kind of one time framing up now off that 200 SMA, but we're the overall market is kind of weird. So if we take a peek, here you can see Apple's green, Microsoft, Google red, Amazon's green now. They were red. Tesla's, basically the Lord and Savior for the market today, up almost 4.5%, over $1,000 again, right? Just insane. But like when we scan through this, we see the rest of them. This is the top 100 in the S&P is fairly red. The good breadth though, so there's a lot of buying in the looks like consumer discretionary and communications. So healthcare is getting beat. Healthcare's down a bit. Financials are down a bit. Staples really just looks like people were taking profit from yesterday. Still see our energies up, and that's another thing too. If we look here, take a peek at CL, oil's back up, gapping up today. So, it makes sense that the market gapped down on the open. Well, it didn't really gap down, I guess, but just opened low. The VIX still heading down, but hasn't broken yesterday's low, excuse me. TLT still heading back up, and if we take a peek at we want to look at the K, I think. The Fed futures, they're chilling, right? So remember we talked about if this 30-day Fed futures rate keeps going down, it's going to be kind of bad for the market, but they are starting to kind of form a balance. Not that it looks good, and you can kind of tell by the market sentiment that they're not really caring about it, right? They're like, oh, raise the rates. I don't give a fuck. I'm still buying stocks. Um, it's interesting because the in reality with these rates getting raised, you would kind of expect them start to price it in because we priced in initially a possible 50-point basis hike rate, right? And we can go to .com Fed Fund Tool. Here it is. So basically, we were pricing in like 50 basis points rate hike back in January, right? And so in January, they started to, you know, not really sell the market, but they just stopped buying. That's why we started pulling back. There wasn't really a ton of selling. There was more or less just no big money buying. And so the market started to slowly just drift back, which makes sense because of the possible rate hikes, right? Coming up on the next Fed meeting, which happened to be at that point in the January 21st. January 21st, Powell came out super hawkish. He's like, I'm gonna quantitative ease, uh, or quantitative tighten, whatever he was saying. He was just not saying anything good. He was just talking like, oh, I'm gonna raise rates and the economy is just gonna have to deal with it because I need to curb inflation. And then the actual meeting came out and he was just like, oh, I'm just kidding. I was just kidding back then. I'm nice. Love me again, right? And then the market started to go back up, and then the Russia invasion, the market started to go back down. And then the next meeting, Powell was all nice again. He's like, oh, I'm not going to do much, not going to do much. And then after that meeting, we had that huge rally. And then um, now every news event after that, pretty much like him on Monday, today he didn't really say much. But all the feds that spoke yesterday and all the feds that are speaking today are pretty much saying that 50 basis points is pretty much what has to happen, but it's not out of probability of a 75 basis points rate hike. And Fed Mester, I think it was Fed Mester, she said um, it's not out of possibility to do a double rate hike twice. So typically when we're getting that, we do see the market um, move up after the first initial rate hike in history. So it kind of makes sense what's going on. But in previous cycles, when you'd see the Fed raise the rates like this, we weren't really um, in the inflationary state that we're at. And, honestly, in my personal opinion, I don't think that they account inflation the correct way. I just think it hasn't been updated in a long time, and the world's just different, and they just need to come up with a new way to measure it, because I just don't think it's accurate. On the on another front today, let's get to the market real quick before we start jumping into news. D sold right off that half back, so that's pretty mechanical. We had that poor high, kind of fixed it. I still really don't like this high. Obviously, it's pretty mechanical. A poor low below the 200. So you know that this round of 200 SMA buying, uh, people are probably late to the party. So what that means is that they're probably not strong, strong hands, right? If price were to drift back down here, I don't think that they're gonna really put up a huge fight at this 200 SMA. I did some kind of back digging yesterday to find on the ES when we do this, because I wanted to see this. So when we have hung out below it and then come above it, right? Doesn't happen much, but COVID, we hung out below it. We gave a nice little rally. Got 1, 2, 3. Well, one time frame stops right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days of green, which is kind of what we're at right now, followed by a pullback to that 200, little consolidation, and then a continuation of the move up. Kind of the same idea here, but just less volatile, right? Comes back, touches it, consolidates, and then moves up. Oh, the Fed's on right now. Not right here. It just kind of traded sideways, kept using that thing as support until it finally started to move up. Right here when it came up, just died, came back down, spent some more time. This is back in 2015. Here, you saw that just a straight rally. So that there really wasn't like conclusive evidence that I could find that basically tell me like, okay, in history, what's happened before. What happened here? What's going on with this thing? These like Hikinashi or some shit? I didn't change the.
Yeah, it definitely looks like Hakamash.
What the? I accidentally clicked something or pressed the button. I was expecting. Oh my god. And so with the ES going forward today, what we're looking for, I mean, really is just to see if we're going to get acceptance below yesterday's value, right? So here's yesterday's value, and let's see if we're going to get, I mean, are the value area high and value area low pretty close? There is some single prints from overnight where we had a late distribution, but I don't really pay attention to that much, to be honest. Um, if value, I mean, it's an interesting spot because we're in the low of yesterday's value and it's like a good spot to buy the dip, right? And right now, the long side is the right side because we are one time framing up. And until we break this D low, we are going to, be one time framing up. What it looks like is they're giving all these people in these single prints a chance to kind of, you know, fill this in, build this value in. And so it makes sense if the market keeps going up, right? There's not really a lot of signs that's telling us, okay, why isn't the market going up? Above the halfback, right? We know it's a mechanical seller. That point of control would be the target. You got the TPOC and then the VPOC looks like it was a little bit higher. Um, the Globex I don't really put much into account too. We did have a pretty prominent point of control, 14 TPOs wide at 45.09 in the spike, right? And that's the interesting thing is like we talked about the spike yesterday. So a spike's going to act as resistance or support or show weakness if we open up inside, but we opened up below it, so that shows weakness, right? But then as soon as we come down to the 200, we start moving up. And so now we're in kind of like what we were in yesterday during the later periods. Once this D period came down and took that C low and the market got really rotational for the rest of the day, it kind of seems like that's the case again here. And if we're looking at the volume, it's also not very impressive. We're about 10%, 9% less than yesterday's volume. So this could just be another day where overnight inventory pushed the market down and we're just kind of melting to the upside because there's, again, just like yesterday, no supply. And it's tough, I think, for a lot of short sellers that are wanting to get short above the 200 SMA. You know what I mean? Like it would make sense if we would break the 200 SMA, we stay below it. Then you get a bunch of those hedge funds coming back into the market that have been shorting since January. Congratulations to all of them because it's the first time they've ever gotten anything right. But that's where it would make sense that they come in and try to push the market down. But until then, they're pretty much just picking their spots, selling off mechanical references, right? Like half back. An update on a couple of things that are going on over in, or geopolitical, I guess, all over the world. A lot of Europe is looking to get oil from their normal source or gas from their normal source, which happened to be Russia. And Putin said he's willing to play ball, but you have to pay him in rubles. And they can't because they're part of the UN and they're sanctioned and banned from SWIFT, and so they can't get rubles. So he's basically like using he's basically leveraging people's well-being, I guess, for food and shelter to get what he wants here. And he's using it, I think, as a tool to get to, probably to Biden, which is kind of smart. He's like fucking Lord Farquaad right now. Some of you may die. That's a risk I'm willing to take. That's from Shrek. If you haven't seen Shrek, get your shit together. It's like one of the best movies out.
Hey Brad, have you heard of Mullen?
Olin?
Yeah.
Mm-mm. Is it a
Oh,
movie?
no, it's stock.
Oh, no. What's the ticker?
MULN.
Oh, here we go. Another car company. Perfect. What's the deal? Tell us. Fill us in.
Dude, see the volume has had. Wall Street Bets has been talking about it.
Okay. Beaten down pretty bad, huh? Are they just trying to run it up because it's cheap?
Yeah, dude, look at what it's done in the last month.
That's like $3.34.
Yeah, it was 50 cents.
Oh, okay. You guys heard it here first. Jared has nailed a lot of these a lot of these car things. I don't know what it is. He has like an ear for car companies that are gonna go up really high and then come back down. So
But dude, I bought some calls. I ain't gonna lie.
how much were they?
Cheap, dude. Cheap. Bought them on the cheap, cheap.
Which month did you get?
July 15th,
July.
I think, or June
Yeah,
15th. Yeah,
July 15th.
July 15th.
What strike price did you go for?
I bought just one out of the money. I think I bought like 350 calls.
Okay.
But dude, it had 250 million volume yesterday.
The volume on the options is nothing though.
Perfect. Good. Good.
When a stock's this cheap, typically what I'll do is I'll just buy the shares.
Yeah.
Because if you're gonna spend $150 on the calls, might as well just buy some shares. They're easier to get out of.
It had like a little rip up this morning and I was like, oh shit, I'm up like $75. And then now I'm like break even again. I'm like, damn.
A lot of cryptos ripping today. Um, ADA's up 10%. Sol, Luna, Paybacks. Uh, the Ape coin is up. Other news too today. Facebook announced, or yeah, well, I guess it's Facebook. Um, Facebook announced that they are going to change the algo back for Instagram. So on Instagram, you're just gonna see uh what's next on your feed, or like what's it called? Uh you're going to see it in order. We're getting a little bit of tempo on this downside here. A little bit of buying right there off that D open mechanical. Like, not getting a lot of energy back down there though. Still that mechanical low. So that's a reference that you carry forward, right? That E came right down to that D low, mechanical reference. Definitely want to carry that forward.
Yeah, I gotta learn how to track these mechanical things like you do.
It just takes time, TJ. That's it. Takes time, and like you just train your brain as you're going through, and then boom, you'll just be like, oh, okay, I see that one, and then it'll just all start to fall it in. Yeah, chronological order, double R. That's it.
That's great. I gotta do another research on Instagram for my normal business. always they're always changing something. But Sam, yeah.
Well, I'm sure with them doing that, it probably helps them somehow. Have you guys watched that? Have you guys watched that show Super Pumped? It's on Amazon, I think. If you haven't, I would check it out. I mean, I don't know how true it is. It's about Uber and like the kind of the birth of Uber, basically. But it's a pretty interesting watch. If it has any validity to the actual story about how it actually happened, it's lurky. It's pretty lurky. Like, it just makes you think that all of these tech companies are doing this. Uh, you know, I mean, they are. We know they are, but it's just shady. And we're just like, oh, that's cool. As long as I get to post my picture of my dog, doesn't matter. Not you, YouTube. You do everything good. Should say that for the algo, and I get banned again. P and HO. Caesar, what's up, bro? Oh, they announced the development of games on Solana blockchain. Oh, that's why Sol's ripping so much. I've been just long with Sol pretty much all the time. Like, ever since, actually, I think Jared might have been the first person to tell me about Sol.
Dude,
And he sold early, like a little
I bought
bitch.
Soul at 13. I bought Soul at
Yeah.
13, and I think I wrote it up to like 95 or 100, and then it was like 220, and I'm like, son of a...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember you telling me about it, and I was like, $13? That's not bad. I'll grab a bunch. And
I'm
then,
telling you, I get into some good, like, I don't know, just some good Reddit threads and stuff like that. And TikTok, dude, I swear.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I go for my hot news. I'm like, Jared, what's going on in TikTok right now? Tell me.
Yeah, if you find the right people that like know what they're talking about, you can do really good.
Well, that's what the whole point of building this community is all about. Like, we focus on futures because that's what I'm good at and that's what I know. But as we start to grow, the trading tool, here we go again, is the TPO, or the market profile. It's the only trading tool you'll ever need. But yeah, the whole point of the community is that we get this group of people that's all trading together, and we all just help each other, find stuff and just nail it. And this is what we do for work. You'll never work a day in your life if I can't remember how it goes. Get rid of these things. Okay. So watch how the volume builds as it goes towards this low. We had 9 contracts on the low here. And it's a mechanical low. Doesn't trade that time. And you can see how thin the volume is. So someone's down here just buying it, right? Or, well, actually probably today. Honestly, probably today, this is just shorts from overnight covering as low as they can get with a little bit of mechanical buying. And the reason we're not having any liftoff is probably because there's no initiated buying, especially we haven't seen it. Only 15 contracts. Someone It seems like someone's absorbing up here on the top too. This is the second time we've seen only double-digit numbers here at the top. There was a 14 lot sitting at the top of B for a while. But yeah, here we go again. This is the market profile. It's the only tool you'll ever need. Get here too as well, created by Druther on this called Trading View, trading platform. So it gets back down there, gets bought up again. That 9 is holding strong there. Doesn't look very strong to me though. Fade from the base of the spike work like. Oh, did you? Oh, you were. Oh, yeah. Were you awake for that, Tommy? Yeah, because that was, I guess, during like right in your wheelhouse. I was asleep. I miss it. Yeah, because that's about 12 hours in. So the way that we look at it, we still look at it as a spike, right? Because it is a late price probe into upper levels, right? And if we put this in, gonna get tight here. So be careful. To know your friends. We can see where this spike probed up to, right? Probed to try to get up to this previous day's high right here, and just just couldn't get anything going back inside this big liquidation days range. And then I just marked, these previous day highs from balance as possible targets that I could see that it trying to go to. But with it failing to get any continuation to the upside, that's telling us that there's no buyers up here, right? And we kind of saw that yesterday, that it wasn't really till the very end of the day just kind of popped up. Always stuck at the 9 to 5 job, Chris. Well, Chris, I'm actually moving to the East Coast. So these streams will be starting earlier when I move there, because 9:30 over there will be 6:30 over here. Yeah, I could go into the spectacles. But so with it unable to actually get any continuation today, it's just telling us that there's no buyers up here. And we found the buyers right on the 200 SMA, right? Late buyers, I think. And the reason I'm kind of thinking that below this 4460 is it was just so weak. So weak. It just would make sense to try to come back in and fill this in. I mean, it's just a little bit overextended, right? From about here. Because there's good balance here, but once we start to get here, we really start to kind of just get a little bit overdone. And it makes sense that many days in a row to take a little bit of a break today. And yesterday was kind of a break. It would just happen to open up. Nobody was really trying to short it because we were over that 200 SMA. And I think that's the same case today. But yeah, so the way the spike works is the way that we utilize the spike, or the way that I utilize the spike, is we basically use it as a block of support and resistance. Right? So depending upon where price is at. So if price is above opens, right? Because I'm not really worried about Globex too much. If price opens above, it should act as support, right? It might dip, it might break, right? We're not worried about exactness. We're just worried about if it opens above and breaks a little bit, it should act as support. We've seen that, all last week we saw that, right? And then if it opens up inside, it typically lets us know that the market's still a little bit curious, but cautious. And then if it opens up below, it tells us that this is kind of not accepted, right? So a peak above and fail, and gonna have to go back and look for some buyers, right? And it found them today on that 200 SMA, and that's really all it is. And because we're not near it, it's not something that I'm using. You know what I mean? It opened up below it, and that's just telling me that these prices up here are rejected. But prices down here, and so that's not this being below the spike isn't telling me, okay, I just need to get short. I mean, I would have loved to short from here, right? When this thing broke, I mean, that would have been ideal, but blowbacks, so it's tough. You probably moved like melting ice. And so what we look for is below, we looked for supports, and that's kind of what I talked about yesterday in the trade view, is where are some areas that we could see support. Well, when the market opened up, it opened up below those single prints, and that was going to be my first look as for support, but we opened up below that. So then I looked for my next levels, and my next level down was the 200 SMA. It came right down to the 200 SMA, kind of hung out for two sessions, and then started to get going, and that's where I got long and just went up. It was probably tempting to get short early, but it's just not something that I was wanting to get into until we broke that in, like, really into that previous day. We did break the previous day's low, but we didn't spend much time down there. B kind of went like this. It went down and then it just went up. So what is the trading tool? No one prepared to tell. Here we go again. I said this is it, the market profile, my man. This is the trading tool. I'm on the phone, so I'd appreciate if someone could put it in the chat. Oh, I'll put it in the chat for you. But double R, does that make sense for the spike? So it's something that you use, but like if the open doesn't give us the opportunity to use it, then we really just can't use it. You know what I mean? Because if we opened up here, like say we opened up close to it, and when it came up, I would be looking to get short, right? I would be looking for it to act as resistance, but we're not near it, so I can't use it. Just click the OK. People just come in to troll. EPO. The real tool is your brain. So welcome. And that's what I do in here is I teach you how to use your brain, right? Not only to trade, but just in all aspects of your life. And so the real, trading tool that you'll need is just your brain. Yes. Guys too.
I think this guy wants it spoon fed.
Yeah. That's what I was telling my wife the other day. I said, you can only lead a man to water, but you can't waterboard him. That's against the law. Unless you have a special license or special time permitted documentation allowing you during certain situations, or you're a lawbreaker. Any of those things will do. So Jared, where are you short from here? Let's hear it.
Wait, what's that?
I said, where are you short from? I know you're short. I could feel it.
Yeah, like Jared's quiet because she's sweating right now. No, I just barely got into a short. I'm actually short from 86.50.
Oh, okay. Not too bad. My dad. I said, tell it like it is. Use your FN brain. What's up, Otto? You guys remember how we were talking about? So when I was looking back at the ES yesterday, I was looking at the 200 to try to find times that it's passed up and under the 200. And then I was looking at the 50 and it's like this. Remember we talked about this death cross and we had talked about how sometimes it's like the best time to buy. And it turns out, you know, you might have had to sit in a little bit of heat, but I mean, so it's just funny. It's just funny that, you know, it's, I mean, pretty accurate that these ones are lagging. And thank you. No problem, man. No problem. Welcome. What I recommend is scrolling down and, you know, clicking on that link to join the Discord and introduce yourself, meet the family, and, you know, welcome. Welcome to the real world. We're just all, you know, children of Zion trying to not eat that cornflake soup.
It's like they know my level, Brad. They're just like, we're just gonna bounce on this dude.
The life cross is the new death cross. Well, you know what's crazy is like, it's just like, you know, I don't think I'll ever get to that level, and I honestly can't predict the future, but the level where you see some of these channels on YouTube just spewing information that they don't use, or just straight uh shit that they know doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like, can you imagine? So like, I use YouTube like a learning tool for a lot of stuff, right? My fucking air conditioner broke. I was like, it's the middle of summer and I can't get an air conditioner, and it was on the weekend, so I couldn't get an air conditioner guy out for till Monday. And I'm like, I'll be dead by then for sure. So I got on YouTube and started, you know, just typing in everything, figured it out, got the tools, went to Home Depot, got everything I need, boom, fix the air conditioner. But could you imagine if people put videos online about like fixing things that were just completely fucking wrong and they have millions of views? And you're like, oh, I'm gonna get on here and fix my truck. This guy just got it. And then you just, you know, mess around with your truck or whatever, and then all of a sudden, boom, like, oh well, that didn't go how I thought it was gonna go. It's just crazy to me. That's why I kind of want to just leave this title forever. The only trading tool you will ever need. So when you just get to this channel, you just stay, and you know, it takes time, right? It takes. That's one thing I think a lot of people don't preach enough, is that it really does take time. Some people are faster than others. Some people have to learn the hard way. We talk about that too. You know, there's differences in people, right? Like growing up as a child, I touched the stove to find out that it was hot, but it only took me one touch, right? Jared, he still touches it sometimes. He just wants to check. He's like, ooh, you know, he likes how it feels, even with the little burn. You know, he just deals with it. He's like, yeah, calluses are good for your skin. You know, and it really just takes time. And I'm just giving it to Jared because he's my buddy, but you know, it just takes time, and that's the thing, is people aren't really looking for that, and that's what we're preaching here. Taking back your time. We're starting to see some tapering here on the top. This is something that you would hear besides this 15 on the top tick, but something that Peter Resnicek would talk about is when these orders at the very top start to kind of taper off, and you're not seeing any increased volume. And we actually do see a little bit of increasing volume here. We are. There they go. You're seeing a little bit of increasing volume here, but it's tough to point it out if they're just looking to if they're looking to break, or if they're just looking to cover here. Pop that D high. They fixed that mechanical high, which is good. It's still a poor high. And they're getting a little bit of volume here. Uh-oh.
that Jared shorting tops again?
No, I bought the short at the bottom.
And you can see that, look at that, F high is mechanical too. Or the F low, I mean the F low is mechanical too. So we've seen this play before, right? We've seen this play.
Jeez,
Ooh,
just enough to take me
Damn.
out.
I wonder if there's some news right there.
Smackdown.
That was weird. That was a quick liquidation. I didn't see a lot of price. There's a lot of stuck buyers up here at like 93. If this thing doesn't go back up there quick, you're gonna see more liquidation down. And really below this 90, because that's kind of what that was the impulse, was the 90. But what I was gonna say is we've seen this play before, right? We've seen them do this where we get these mechanical references on the way up, and then they kind of get you leaning towards that downside, or try to at least, and then they keep doing it, right? So remember, A, B, C, D, E, F, we're one time framing up, right? So as tempting as it is to take a bite of that apple, or to grab that red ruby, just know that if you're shorting, that you need to be a little bit safer with it, right? Because you're going against the trend, and you're trying to, not necessarily call the top, but it's 9 times out of 10 when you trade with the trend, you're going to be more successful than when you trade against it. That's just real science. That brothers. Need a reminder every now and then. Everybody does. I like it. That's what I love about this is, by me teaching, that's why I said you guys are doing just as much for me as I'm doing for you, is I'm reinforcing everything that I know, and then also by you guys communicating with me as you guys start to progress, it really gives me another perspective. That F high sold off from those overnight single prints, just so watch. But it gives me another perspective to look at it, and so while I'm teaching it, I'm learning at the same time. And I love to learn new stuff. I just love to learn, period, but learning's my favorite. So let's see, this is kind of where everyone was covering earlier here, down like this 85 level. And then they can break the E low. If they break the E low, they should break the D low, and then they'll probably be looking towards like 77 quarter. 9 contracts, 21, 78. Got late trying to backfill this. Late buyers trying to backfill this here. So there's one tick below. So look for the open. That'd be their next kind of target down. Maybe half back 79.50, but that open, that 77.50 looks like a spot that they might want to go for. $56 contracts traded there. I mean, they're trying to bang the low. It's just, it's tough. But they do, it does look like there is participation down here. Like, it does look like they're actively trying to take price lower. And the target, in my opinion, would be the open here.
Dude, it seems like they're just running my stops right now. Like every time I'm like, it's got some support right here. Go down lower.
That's when you gotta step up out of your chair, walk outside, go fight jacks for a little bit. Jared's got a cat, guys, that's like a he's like, what is he like? He's like 30 pounds or something. He's a fucking monster. He's like a, well, he's like a,
Half
what is it?
bobcat, yeah.
He's half bobcat. He's cool. He's a, he's a, kind of a little dickhead to be honest, but he's super cool. Dude, my cat the other day, it was probably like, well, she's not really my cat. She's like an outside cat, but she hangs out with us all the time. She was like sitting outside the front door, and I was like, end of the night, went to let her in, and there's this like other beefy cat that lives in the barn next to us, and she like started chasing it and smacking the shit out of it, and chased it all the way down to the end of the street, and then came back in the house. I was like, God damn, just protecting her land. She's like, get the fuck out of here. I hope we're not getting long right here. And it might pop, but if it flushes, it's going to flush hard straight to that open because they're just buying off that D low. It's mechanical, so be careful here. That's a lot of action down there for nothing. If they start to cover, if they can get above 84, that's going to be their target, but 516 contracts trade on that low and then 3,000 right above it. So they're just trying so. Ooh. So what it looks like here is that you're getting a bunch of short covering and there's not really a lot of buying, and we're starting to get some late momentum selling here. It looks like they want to take it down. There it goes. So there's 77.50, the open. Boom, mechanical buying right off the open.
Nice.
Nice, right? And let's see that this is kind of what they did at the D low. Oh, they just pushed right through it. So they put their stand at the D low and then didn't really put up a fight, too much of a fight at that open here. So let's see if we get a bunch of short covering here below the open and it starts to pop up. I want to move my stop down to 77.75 now.
It's the only
Next.
downside of only having one lot.
Wait, you're gonna go long right here, Brad?
No.
Oh.
No, I'm short from 81.75 actually.
Oh.
Yeah, like as soon as we broke that E low, I was looking for the open. And I only have one lot left. And TJ, there's no big no bigger frustration when you're first starting out than not having that ability to have that second lot to let your runner run. What I recommend doing is kind of try to keep track of it in your head and like just keep track of it with your mouse on your screen. Like, okay, so I would have put my stop here and then just leave your mouse there. And if price comes up and touches your mouse, then you're like, okay, that's where it would have covered. And then what I would do is write those down to let you know, like, is the way that I'm trading worth it to add this second lot? Because you got to calculate your risk that you're going to take for that second lot as well. But that's a good way to, get that ability to let those runners run. I got my stop down at 76 now, guys. We get back up there, I'll cover. I'm looking for, at this point, we're this T too high. Oh yeah, we're running into, yeah, 2 days ago's high. So we've got a little bit of support there. We've got the 200 SMA. And then, like I said, if we get below this 60 level, I think we'll see some shorts start to pour on, and it will just, we'll just get ugly. 74 looks like a key level people are buying at. I might cover around here. Volume. A little bit of action. 9 contracts on that low kind of scared me though. So if we get a pullback and check what happens. And that might have been a decent buying opportunity too. It's just I was on the short side already, so might have missed the downside as well. Remember, don't get so focused on every move and let it play into your next move, right? Oh yeah, that was a perfect rejection of yesterday's value. Yeah, yesterday, Tommy, I would say it was a P, but then that late excess to the upside really elongated it. And then if we look at it, it really was just oh, what happened here? Back. I might have clicked all of them. It really was just kind of like a melting up. We didn't really, we made like a higher low, then another higher low, and then kind of just drifted onto the upside. So it did look like a short covering, followed by a late day. We see this 21,000 volume, a late day momentum breakout, because there was people getting trapped all day yesterday trying to buy breakouts, and they got trapped, and people trying to sell breakdowns. Not us, but most people probably. And so it made sense at the end of the day, if they've been trying to buy breakouts all day, you think about your typical trader that they just do something, until it stops working, and buying things has just been working for the past 2 years. So they're just waiting for breakouts, and they got kind of trapped over there. But I would say, yeah, profile. And so now what we'll do, looking at our profile, and it's a good point that Tommy brought up, just to take a peek at it, right? Similar to yesterday's, right? I mean, we didn't have that big short covering rally on the beginning, but we do have our first cessation of one time framing. So now we know the market's probably going to become a little bit more rotational, but we didn't break anything significant, right? I mean, we came below the open, we're back above it. We came right down to that T2 high, which kind of tells us that this was a mechanical level. We got the 200. So people are confident buying until we get down here, right? And this is where people will become, they won't be as confident buying, and people that are shorting or looking to get short will be more confident down here. But as for now, we have a poor low, right? We have a mechanical reference on the F high. You could say this is mechanical. I don't really count the overnight single prints, but this is good excess to me. Good excess on the top. And just like Tommy pointed out, here's yesterday's value area. Peeked into yesterday's value and said, nah, I'm going to keep forming value lower. It turned out that was a great buying opportunity right there, right? If really ran up. It's just I was already on the short side, and so didn't want to. Well, wasn't looking for it, and I'm not that type of person that just goes, flip flop. I gotta. Yeah, exactly. I gotta wait. He said, "Disagree. My biggest disappointment is never being on the right side of the trade." That's what I hate, Alex. That's probably my least favorite thing is because when I go to get filled, I typically, like if I'm buying, I try to get filled on the bid. And so, I'll go look to buy the bid and the market will start moving. F, you know? Yeah, you were right, but couldn't get in. Yeah, I think I buy that much.
Brad, what's that pink line at the top of the profile?
This one?
Yeah.
It's it marks single prints. That's how I have single prints marked. I just have it marked nice and thin. So if I like zoom out, it'll show this little line until it gets intersected again. But this profile will go away when the market closes today, so these won't be there. This is a Globex. I should probably change the color on Globex. What's our color for Globex? So I could just do what I have on my other chart. I'll just have it as dark green. Nighttime. Stuck between the two T2. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I agree.
So right here is like F kind of went up and then it also flushed. So something like this would just kind of stay out till you get more info.
Right. Yeah. So like right now I'm not in a trade and I don't plan on getting in a trade until the market starts to give me some information, right? As of right now, I'm still looking for a long trade because we didn't break that high. I think that low is mechanical, and if the right parameters say there is an opportunity to get short as well, it just is gonna depend on what the market tells me. And with the market making such a big move, because you figure what was this 94 to 70, let's just call it 20 points compared to the actual range of the market today, which is about 40 points. So it's about half of the market's range in one session. That really tells me I should probably chill for a second. I was able to catch the short, which is great. And that gives me, gives you a little bit of mental capital back, saying like, okay, well, I just made a trade, so I don't need to make another trade. But then you also have to, flip that coin over and remember, like you're saying, like the market's not really giving us any good information right now, except for one, that we have a mechanical low. And that's it. So until we get closer to that mechanical low, and if we start to see some increasing tempo and some volume on the way towards that mechanical low, I'm not going to look for a short from up here, because basically we're just in the middle of value. And that, I mean, this is probably the biggest area where you're kind of in a 50-50 zone. And we just saw it, F period opened up, took the highs, and then took the lows. Well, we were patient enough to wait until it got down close to that E. I mean, I shorted one tick below the E low. This. So you can see today who's kind of leading, right? Our technology sector is still leading the charge today. Oh, it's the 200. But you can see these other sectors, because this is what I was trying to look at yesterday. Most of the sectors are still, it's on a day. Most of the sectors are, just kind of hanging out, not really doing anything. We're in kind of a market consolidation. And this is from about 6:30 this morning. So since the market opened, we had a nice little pump in a couple of sectors, and now just starting to chill out a little bit. If we go over to our bigger stocks here, the Tesla, like I said, the white knight today, just saving the market from falling down. Apple doing well today. Nvidia was off to a nice charge, but there's some news out with them in the metaverse or some shit. See the breadth, not as great as it was, still doing okay. The tick distribution is pretty split, I would say. You can see the selling in the overall market compared to the actual weighted sectors, right? So most of the selling is happening just throughout, and that, I mean, we can see it here. Most of this is red. Right, to look at certain future charts, make it over 1%. Time for a coffee refill. You know, I heard that like drinking 3 cups of coffee a day is like actually good for you, but you have to like measure the cups because most people drink 1 cup of coffee and it is 3 cups.
Yeah, it's like some huge mug.
Yeah. What
Yeah,
was
I've been
that?
trying to do just black coffee with a little almond milk. Try to get away from all these sugars and creamers and stuff.
Yeah, that's a good idea. There's a place, a local place here by me, uh, Clark's Coffee, and they sell this growler for 25 bucks and they refill it for 15 bucks. And it's like just cold brew. And cold brew is a little bit easier to drink black than uh well, you know, in just like hot coffee for me at least. Yeah, so take a look at this heat map, right? A lot different than it looked yesterday. Yesterday we saw like, you know, just green all around the edges, right? All of our big names are just green. Well, today got a few winners, but look who's winning today again. Energy. So that's why I said the market's kind of weird today because this typically doesn't happen. Normally if Apple's green, energy is red and vice versa, for the most part. Oh, you know what company is doing good? Let's see. So this is a company that everyone told me was shit. And I said, I think so. Because my dog owns this company, Jerry Jones. And I mean, looking pretty good so far. It's a Chesapeake Energy company. And it's not going anywhere. Right? Just like the Dallas Cowboys aren't going anywhere. Had to mention them real quick. Quick plug for the Dallas Cowboys, Erica's team. You guys are wondering where Tom Brady's going to play this year. Be careful. Might be that little Herschel Walker type season where Jerry trades Herschel Walker and it's Emmitt Smith and Troy Aikman and Michael Irvin and just runs the 90s. Just like the Rams ain't going nowhere. Oh, wait. Yeah, but the Rams aren't on. I wonder how much the Rams are worth now that they built that stadium. I guess they only get half of the value of it, but they the Cowboys are up there with worth like Manchester United, Arsenal, like they're worth like as much as some of these pro club teams. Because football's really not that popular anywhere else except for the US. I know we play some games over in England um to try to share it, you know, but yeah, we moved the ground to a whole nother area. Yeah. There's not really a lot out there too. There's a lot more space out there.
Dude, why is the market so slow today? I mean, it's just like a standstill.
So everyone's trying to figure out what to do now. And you're getting it. So what happens is in a lot of these moves, because people are naturally momentum traders, and they're not trading from significant areas, like references basically, they get a little bit overextended. So they start to pile into all these shorts, right? And then the market started to rally. And so then boom, they flip flop and they start to pile into all these longs when it bounced up here. And they're just doing an inventory reshuffle. They've got to balance it back out. You know what's crazy, Tommy? I don't know if you've seen the Raiders' new stadium in Vegas. Their field like pulls out like a fucking trundle. You guys know what trundle bed is? Yeah,
Yeah,
like
it's like
a
under a bed, isn't it?
yeah, and it like pulls out, right? It's like on wheels and like pops up into like a regular bed. Well, their field, the grass in their field is actually like a trundle, and it rolls out of their stadium into the sun. It's real grass. It's dope.
I know. I helped build it.
Oh yeah, that's right. You did work there for a long time too.
Yeah, 2 years.
Thought they were never gonna open it. It looks like a giant Roomba when you see it from the freeway.
Oh yeah.
And the Raiders got probably the best wide receiver in the NFL right now because DeAndre Hopkins is hurt. Oh, the Spurs do? Oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that. Oh, that's pretty badass. Pitches, I forgot. Bro, Tommy, have you watched Ted Lasso yet? I know it's nice over there for the first time in like a year in England, so definitely gonna enjoy the sun. But when it rains tomorrow, you gotta start watching that show. It's so funny. But look how thin it was in F period where the real chunk of volume. So during this F period, look how thin this volume is right here, but you have most of the volume for the day is right there. That's interesting. That it just kind of skipped over all that and just started heading lower. Yeah, I know it's tempting to want to get into a position here, to start looking for a position here, but the best thing you can do is just stay patient. That's it. And a lot of times, right, it's tough to just sit here. So, set some alerts, right? Get on TradingView, set some alerts, set some prices that you want to watch the interaction with. Not necessarily like, oh, I'm gonna buy, I'm gonna sell, but um something that if price gets to that level, it makes you interested. You know what I mean? Kind of like that F low. So like let's say you put an alert down here on the open 77.50, and that's going to make you interested at looking to say, oh, okay, maybe we're going to break that F low because that F low seems a little bit mechanical to me, and then we do have a poor low below it. The ATR, the ATR is just the average true range, or I mean, I call it the average trading range, but it's the same idea. It's basically just measuring. So I use it to calculate what my daily goal is going to be. So like on the ES, right? Today the ATR was like 73, right? So 73 points is the average trading range leading into today. Um, I mean, that's just based off of, yes, it's based off of the last, let me see what I have it on. You can base it off a certain number of days. I have mine on 5. That's what I thought. Mine's based off of 5. The last 5 days, the average trading range is 72 points right now. But yesterday it was 75. It was 81. I think I put 75 on my Excel this morning. So might have been a little bit higher, I guess. But I'm using it to calculate what piece of the market am I looking to capture, right? So if I'm goaling myself with things like 10 points a day, right? I like to compare it to the ATR. So at 10 points is, what do we got here? You know, probably like 15%, I guess, of the market, maybe a little, yeah, close to that. So that's not too bad for me. I think that's an achievable thing. What's up, Luis? That's an achievable thing for me. But if I'm looking at this ATR back here and it's like 41 and I'm going for 10 points, well, you know, pretty significant piece of the puzzle there, right? That's over 20%. That's capturing 20% of the day seems a bit difficult, you know what I mean? So then I try to accustomate or mold myself into that type of day, for that type of trading style. Because if I'm looking for these huge gains on small days, I'm just going to end up over trading. And so it's just a way to keep me honest. But it just measures the range of the past 5 days. I don't think I don't use it like as a, I don't know what it's intended for, to be honest with you. Like if people use it to trade with, I do not know. I haven't done a lot of research into it except for the information that it tells me that day. I just use it every single day. And it's on this Excel sheet that I was showing yesterday. So I just put the ATR in. This is just the demo one, but I just put the ATR in every single day, and then it will give me some calculation for my goal, right? Give me risk and I mean just basically all the things. Like if I see a low ATR, like today's been pretty low and we've been kind of been falling off, I know like, hey, you know, I don't need to be looking for these huge movers. I'm happy just taking, 12 ticks, something like that, right? Whereas like if the ATR is over 100, I mean 72 is a pretty big range, to be honest with you. We're getting below that open now, right? Now your ears are ringing. But it's good. I think it's great to keep you on sides and keep you from over trading, which I think is a big weakness of a lot of people, is that they end up over trading, trying to get to that goal, and sometimes it's just not an achievable goal. It has to be adjusted every single day, I think. And sometimes you can expect more, sometimes you can expect less. Sometimes you get more, sometimes you get less, So we came right back down to that open. We saw some buyers right under the open. It popped back up. So let's see what it looks like as they start to come back down. This 77 quarter level, it looked to see where that looked to be the area where they just gave up. If we get back above this 80 level, you probably see some short covering. Like 87. So they sell it off the 80 again. Again. If you start to see some buying here above this 80, because you can see where the cluster of volume is at, right? So you can see where people are shorting it. So they're kind of stuck between this like 80, 81 to, 77, 74 level. A little bit of back and forth in between those two levels. Below the 74, they'll probably look to touch the low of the day, and then above, and really above this 80, 81 level. I mean, we're seeing it now. This should short cover up here to like 82 quarter, and then above that, probably like 87.
Hey Brad, it looks like the point of control is like at 82, but then like on the volume profile on the right, like most of the red is up towards like the 85, 86. So like
Right.
that add up.
That's just a divergence, or not really a divergence, just like a nuance. So like it's just something to take note of, right? So we have our point of control here, but the volume, most of the volume is up here. And so that's just telling us that probably people are interested in price up here, right? More interested in
Right.
price up here than they are down here, right? Because we can kind of see how it dies off. And
Yeah,
volume,
in my head, I was like, okay, G went up to like the point of control up there, and I was like, wait, that's not the point of control.
I mean
I
that,
was like,
but that's a good observation. Yeah, because they're selling it off the volume point of control. Because remember, a lot of traders aren't using the market profile, but a lot of traders are using the volume profile. So that's a good point to look at it as a mechanical reference. I have a buy stop order at 82 quarter, and I'm looking for it to trade up to 87, but might have to cover a little bit early. But I'm waiting to get long until we get above that, right? Because I don't like a long from right here. I want to see us get above it. If sellers are able to push it back down below 77 quarter at open, start to move. But I mean, in reality, G is just inside F here too, so this is more just looking for the scalp. Seeing a little bit of short covering right there. Yeah, I think everyone is having a good day, Luis. Thank you. Does that help, Caesar or Cesar? I think it's Caesar, right? Yeah, I think I've asked you, Caesar. About the ATR. I wish I could explain more, like what people use it for trading strategies. I use it more for a risk management tool to keep me from doing dumb things.
man, I got me a screen, a monitor, and a like a swing arm thing to go on the desk. I'm
Oh,
excited to get
it's
it out.
heck yeah, it is. I love those things. I mean, I have all my
Yeah.
monitors on them, so much easier.
I'm trading right now on my like MacBook Pro 13-inch. I feel like I'm squinting like crazy.
That was actually kind of funny to learn about Jim Dalton, is that he trades on a laptop on one screen, and he just clicks back and forth in between. He uses Window Trader and Thinkorswim, but he just clicks back and forth in between the two programs. It's kind of funny. So we're starting to get a little bit of movement down, but they need to see volume below this 77, below this open, if we're going to get some continuation. Some interest down here. Only 5 contracts traded on that low right there. Remember, their target is going to be that F low. If these sellers are able to hold it below the open, which they're struggling here, but it does look like they're trying. Their target will be that F low, probably like 74. Honestly, this looks kind of like where they get weak at.
When you were saying there's only 5 contracts traded on the low, were you looking at like the DOM?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to soak all this up. I got to figure this out.
You'll get it, man. It just takes time. That's it. But you'll get it. I strongly believe that.
Screen time. Yep.
If anyone puts in the work, and I mean, my dad is like he's a perfect example. I mean, he has like that kind of mentality where he just like has to be good at stuff. Especially when I'm good at them, it makes him want to be good at them even more. Just kind of how like we've just been really competitive with each other our entire lives. But
Yeah, awesome.
but he's just been grinding it out. He's fucking been reading everything. He's been doing it all, and he's been doing well. And patience really has been the key. And I mean, honestly, ever since he switched to the MES, he has just been making the market his been having his way with the market. I gave an analogy yesterday that was pretty funny, but I won't. I don't know if I want to repeat it. It's pretty. I think I was talking to Jared.
Dude, I just took a smackaroonie right there.
Dang.
Well, fuck. Dude, there was 5 contracts traded at 77. So I'm like, okay, there's no follow through. And then sure enough, I average in and it's just like, woof. Oh, it's so frustrating.
Well, next target down is going to be that 200 SMA. That's where they're going to look. But there's support here. Yeah, see, that's why I didn't have, because I was looking to get long too, but I didn't want to get long until we get above 82 quarter. That's where I had my buy limit at. Never got up there. I'm not in a short either. You went long. I went long when you went short. Oh, earlier. I'm wrong all the time. Not today, but all the time. That's my wife. Wrong every time. Every time we get an argument, I'm like, oh, fuck. God damn it. I'm like, no, I swear to God, it was like this. And then we fucking, have supercomputer in your pocket, whip it out, Google it. And they're like, you're just already staring at me like, see, dumbass, told you. I'm like, oh, fuck. And that's like that's a lesson right there in psychology. I don't know how many times I'm gonna have to just, what it really is I just want to be right one time. You know what I mean? Boom, and I've been right. I've been right a couple times, and I just, you never forget those ones.
Have you seen Grown Ups too?
Yes.
Yeah, when his wife forgets the anniversary.
Yes. Oh my God.
That's like all I want in my life, just one time.
Yeah, I always pretend like I don't know. Like on the day of the anniversary, I'm like, you could tell. Like, oh, hey, good morning. Like, hey.
Yeah. I got a Latin wife. That shit's not gonna work.
Oh yeah, no, you'll get beat up. Have you guys seen those? There's like all these. It's like a reels. They're called reels because I only watch stuff on YouTube. But it's like a husband and his wife is. She might be Filipino or something. She has a really strong accent, and then like the dad lives with them. Have you guys seen those?
Mm-mm.
Oh, they are so funny. Oh, they're so funny. They kill me. Because like it's just like super stereotypical, but like the dad doesn't really speak English very well, at least like in the videos that they make. And so they're always kind of playing on that. And like the son plays to it, and they're old school, right? So like in their like the dad's old school. So it's like the woman's supposed to take care of the husband. So anytime that she's not doing what he wants, he just goes and tells her dad. It's so it just cracks me up. Yeah, that's true, Otto. That's definitely true. We have been programmed to, not be wrong. And then even when we are wrong, unfortunately, a lot of people now, when they're wrong, they're like, I don't care if I'm wrong. You're going to be wrong with me. We're just going to be wrong together. Like, and that's what they're out to do, is just not make it, it's like back in the day, me and all my friends, like, if anytime anyone would say anything and you didn't have a comeback, just be like, racist, And it's just like, it's the same idea now. And the worst part is like, at least for our generation, at least my generation, we were allowed to fail, right? Like I mean, my dad like almost encouraged me to lose. He's like, yeah, you're gonna lose. It's gonna happen. I don't know how many times as a kid, like, I'll just start crying and just go inside, so pissed off that I just can't play because I'm losing to my dad at 21 and it's 19-0 because I can't shoot any shots. He's just blocking them all. But like now, I see it with other parents. They're like, oh, go ahead, shoot it. I'm like, what? Like, just you've gotta learn how to fail so you can grow. You know what I mean? Hey,
Bro,
low
I was
happy
looking at
mountain. What's up, man? What's up?
the shape of these bars. It looks like I forget what it's called, corner kick maybe. I don't know. When you look at like A, it almost looks like it's making a huge like N shape.
Yeah,
It kind of goes up. It's got a rounded top. It's kind of coming back down.
it does. The thing that makes me kind of nervous about this level here is that because we have a poor low and we didn't really get any continuation. I mean, there was a lot of contracts traded on that low. It was really close to the open, and it makes sense to try to trade it, but it's not going to convince me really to get short. I mean, there might be an opportunity to take a short, but it's not going to convince me that it's going to keep going until it starts to really stay below it. Because there's just simply just not enough volume today to really take it lower. So unless there is like some liquidation or some big pickup in volume, and let me look at the volume right now. It does look like the tempo is picking up a little bit here.
With the corner kick play, it could really go either way, right? Like they could score or you could block it and it like bounces right back up or whatever.
Right. It's a better opportunity to on the ES to scalp. Yeah, volume is picking up a little bit. We can see, compared to yesterday, it's only about 2% less. So it's not more than yesterday, but not less by much.
Yeah, A seemed to come down right to the tops of like the past 2 days volume when I was looking on TradingView, so might have some good support there. I don't know.
Yeah, that's where that 200 SMA is at. I mean, this is where it is on the cash session. If you pull this back over, you can see it's here. But if we did this, which is what most people are looking at, their 200 is, well, so I guess it's about the same, 66, 7. So it's pretty much the same. But that's just, it's just such an easy reference to see, something that pretty much everyone is paying attention to at this point because they know everybody else is paying attention to it.
Right.
And there's some kind of math behind it, right? Like, I mean, I don't really understand the way that people use moving averages because a lot of people use like the 9, the 20, the 50, the 100, the 200. And so like to me, what makes sense is the 20 makes sense because there's 20 trading days in a month. A 5 would make sense because there's 5 trading days in a month. A 60 would make sense because that's 60 days and 3 trading months, right? And then whatever, 6 months would be, what's 6 times 20 would be 120. That would make sense. And then, you know, just so on and so forth from there. That's kind of what would make sense to me. And that's on a daily chart. But once you start to get into these lower time frames, you know, in reality, depending upon what time frame you're looking at, I think the best, like if I was going to use a moving average, right, on a 30-minute time frame, it would be like a 2 moving average, because that's what's happening right now. When you're on a daily chart, you're not really looking, you know, intra profile, not really looking to capture a couple of points on a daily chart, right? You're not looking for those key references, and on a 30-minute time frame, you have no idea what, you know, what other people are looking at, right? And it's, I mean, it's pretty clear as day we want to trade with what the market's doing, and the market profile tells us everything. So there's really no need for that, and it's just kind of, I think it causes more stress and anxiety doing it that way. Close my window. One other.
In the stock market, do they use like a simple moving average? I feel like in crypto, I'm always using like an exponential moving average. I didn't even realize there were so many until I started looking.
Well, and that's the thing, is there's no standard. Like there's no, it's all gonna be dependent upon what your trading style is. Like, so with the moving averages, I think people use them the wrong way also. People use moving averages. So let's say if we're using a 50 moving average, right? It's this white line. If we're using a 50 moving average on a 30-minute Bitcoin chart. Oh, good morning, Demas. What people are using it for is like, oh, it's going to act as support, right? Something that I would use it for, if I was going to use it, would be to keep me on track, right? Like, so if price is above the 50 moving average, just tell me the past 50 periods, and I can't even do it because I wouldn't do this. Look, I would do this.
Like staying with the momentum kind of thing.
Oops, 502. Oh my god. 2, and I would change it to the open, high, low, close, like this. This is how if I was going to use a moving average to trade. Oh my god, it's frozen. It's glitching because it's like, holy shit, no one's ever done that. But if I was going to use a moving average, this is what I would use, right? If I was going to, for intraday trading on 30-minute bars, it's an open, high, low, close, so it's giving me the average of the past hour over based off of the open, the high, the low, and the close, right? So I know
you're only knowing about the past hour and nothing else as far as the average goes.
Exactly. And when you're intraday trading, that's really all that matters, because you just need to, when we're trading the ES, we just need immediate direction, right? And the thing is, I wouldn't be using this as a sell off or buy, sell below, buy above. What I would be using it for is, okay, the past hour, the average is telling me that price is below the past hour. So when I'm looking at my profile, right? When I'm looking at my profile, I'm trying to see, okay, are we getting some volume coming down? Because here's all the volume. Here came in some more volume, and we're starting to see little chunks of volume coming down, but it doesn't look like as we get down, volume's increasing. It looks like as we're going up, volume's been increasing off this low. So that's telling me, okay, well, I don't want to be getting short down here. That's for damn sure. And so when it comes back up, so if I look at this line, this is 77. If I find 77 on the chart, when it's getting up here, you could see a little bit of volume. I really don't like that. I'd be looking for it 81 as a possible spot to get short, right, where all the volume's at. But I go over here and 81, well, it's not the ES. What am I doing? Fucking stupid. Here it is. 81. Oh, see, perfect. See, guys, I don't even have this thing up. It just makes sense, right? But you don't need this. That's what I'm saying. But if it is something that you can use to keep yourself on track, then use it. You know what I mean? If you can use it to keep yourself from making bad decisions, then great. But I think a lot of people are using it as a a lot of people are using it as a like support resistance type deal, and that's just not intraday. That's just not really intended what I think it's intended for, or how it works. And it's great, when we toss all these moving averages on a 30-minute chart, and you're like, oh look, see right here, boom, bounced right off the 20. Should have bought it. Yeah. Hindsight is 2020, of course. But I would have rather waited. The 20 was about right here. I would have rather waited for that test of value area high to get long in a situation like that. And honestly, I wouldn't be taking a long on Bitcoin right there at all. So here we go, back above the open. Watch this 81 level. That's where the volume was at. Went short instead of long. Right. Got out. Thought it was profit, but it was a loss. Was it because of the commission?
Yeah.
There you go.
What's up? It's one. Yeah.
No, Brad, I went short. I was trying to go long.
Oh, went short instead of long. Oh, damn it. Retrading. Did you click on the DOM, or were you? What happened? Yeah, I agree, Demus. Yeah, I think they have their place, and I just think that they're overutilized and understood. You know what I mean? I think people just put them on, and when you backtest things based off of certain things, it's pretty easy to find the ticket. You know what I mean? Just we don't trade the left of the chart, we trade the right of the chart. So a little bit of resistance here at the open. Looks like they're selling that open. We're starting to see a little bit of volume increase. If we keep coming down in here and we start to see some volume increasing, that'll tell us that volume's increasing below the open. Right here, you can kind of see every time it gets below the open, it just kind of dies out. Watch for the volume to come in.
I wouldn't say it's dying out. I'd say it's picking up speed.
Well, no, I'm talking about previously. Right now, it does look like it is getting some volume, but not very much, to be honest with you. I don't think there's a lot of interest down here. Not yet, at least. They can get it back below that 70-75 though. They can really sink in some. So look at this profile here on the right, guys. Let me make it a little bit bigger. You can kind of see it just for some reason it's dying off here, but there was some good volume down on that 71. And still no trading there. That's what's kind of telling me like why isn't this, why aren't they, what are they doing here?
It's a value area low.
Yeah, and I mean people are just, I think they're afraid to short until we get below this 200. Okay, it's filling in a little bit. That's what we like to see. They need to keep filling this back in here. $15 contracts on that low. This could just be people front running the 200 SMA as well. Like, I mean, and like I said, there's just a lack of supply today. The volume is just, I mean, it's not, yesterday's volume was low. Today's volume is lower than yesterday's, not by much, but still lower than yesterday's, which wasn't a high volume day. It's going to take a bit of volume to kick on, and that can happen through a liquidation, right? If it breaks and liquidates, I'm guarantee that people's alerts are going to kick off when the market touches that 200 SMA. Or even close to it, right? Because they might have had an alert around here and now they're buying it up. And this is what we've kind of been seeing. So now we're kind of back where we were at. So now basically we sit here above the 74, the 73 previous day's low, in between the open and in between that half back. So like right here, I'm looking for a position. I'm looking to get long, but I'm not really looking to get long until we get above that 78.50. To see how that if these mechanical sellers try to sell half back. If they do, that's where I could see a possibility to get long. And we have the same idea here, right? Volume kind of falls off up here. So unless we start to get some good volume up here, the chance of continuation is probably not going to happen. Same thing here. You can kind of draw a little line here. It started to pick up a little bit. And we saw we got a little bit of interest down here, but it really just kind of fell right there, and they need to pick it up. Because what's happening is every time we get down here, short covering, and it pops right back up into the volume cluster.
I'm short on Bitcoin from 42,669.
What's your target?
Down to the VWAP, I would definitely take profit.
Yeah, that's a good target.
I probably even front run the VWAP.
Yeah, watch for that reaction at the point of control, like 42, like right 42,200. I think probably is probably a decent spot to look for it to drift back down to. If the market starts to show weakness, we could see Bitcoin start to show some weakness. There's a campaign online right now, at least it seems like it, for people campaigning for crypto. So people are saying like, look what's happening to Russia. Don't let this happen to you. Buy Bitcoin. So I think there is a lot of bullish bias going on in crypto right now. And I mean, we can see a lot of those other names got pretty big bumps today. AD is up 10%. Oh, let's take a peek at my boy. Gamestop.
Damn, that thing's volatile, huh?
Yeah, all of a sudden they're trying it again. I think. I mean, all of these meme stocks are doing well. Bed Bath and Beyond is kind of dying out a little bit. And it had a big move up yesterday. AMC's big move happened after hours yesterday. This light blue, if you can see it, is after hours. So the market, I mean, it was already up. It was already up about from the open, went up about 30%. Oops, no, from the open, it went up about 16%, and then after close or after the market closed, it went up another 15% there. Sellers are trapped here, guys. It looks like if they get continuation of volume above that 78.50, it's probably going to run. And remember that 82 quarter, that was that level that I was waiting on last time, and above the 82 quarter, I was looking for that 87. Still not getting actually any push through, but it does look like we have some trap sellers on the DOM.
So I just took my first take profit on that Bitcoin short.
Nice. Watch that 74. That's where these sellers are trapped. They need to get below the 74. And remember, a lot of times when this happens, right, when you get a trapped seller and they're trapped at a certain level and you're able to notice them, a lot of times right when it gets below their level that they're trapped at, they cover. So don't just assume like, oh, if we get below that level, I'm just going to be fucking short. You know, you got to watch for the reaction. Everything that we do is about the reaction, right? We're basing it off of how the psychology of our competitors are acting. Back down to the 74. It's sitting on 74. Hilarious. Right back to it. They go. This guy's trying to decide, is he going to re-short? Doesn't look very confident. Neither do the buyers, though. The buyers look pretty weak here, to be honest with you. That really just looked, that little up move right there kind of looked like short covering. Came right into that, what was that, like 77? Didn't even make it back to the open. And then there it is. He covered at 73. Little sneaky peek. Oh, we didn't notice. That's an interesting low there. There was orders that traded on both sides, like on that 70 quarter, or that 72 quarter. Can't believe Tesla's back over 1,000 after the splits, and then after the pullback too, and everyone thought it was going to go to zero. Now they're worth $1 trillion again. Oh, the internet is savage. Hillary Clinton tweeted, Bill tested negative and is feeling fine. He's quarantining until our household is fully in the clear. Movie recommendations appreciated. And someone posted 13 hours on her as a response. Hilarious.
I can't believe they still live together.
Tried to just want to be president so bad.
She's still holding on to that hope of being president, so she.
Dude, what is going on here? Are we gonna break that 76 or what?
The ticket here is at 77 quarter. I'm waiting to get long until we get above 78.50. Starting to get a little bit of interest down here, though. A little bit of people kind of getting more confident. It looks like on the short side. They just can't move price down because there's just not enough of it. The book seems thin today too, because we're getting a lot of like jumps around, or a lot of quick movements. So basically what it looks like is the market maker is filling all of the orders that they need to fill, and they're kind of picking the spots as far as how many they're willing to accept on each lot, and then that's why you see some of these what looks like jumps, because they're only filling so many orders on that price. Kind of disgusting to look at. Being a market maker is like back in the day. Have you ever seen those what were they called? Were they called code talkers in World War II? Those machines that they used. There goes a little bit of a break, huh? Uh-oh. Trying to pick up some tempo. Yeah, it looked like they were getting interested. It's just,
Bro, I've gotten it wrong the entire day. Hard. Like, I mean, I'm like, oh, they ain't gonna break the support. Poof, there's a flush, and then I go short or go long, and it breaks again the bottom, and then every move. It's a frustrating day.
that's one of those days, man, where if it starts off like that and then it continues on. Like, one of my rules is if I have 3 losing trades in a row, that's it for me for the day, or at least for that session. At least until I can walk away and kind of just break real quick, get that refresh, right down to the 200 SMA, and then back up. But what are those things? what were those things called? Like where you would have to plug in certain lines to connect people with other people. You know what I'm talking about? What was that job called?
Like a switchboard.
A switchboard. Genius. I was about to say where was all my old people at, and the fucking youngest person in here answered it.
I worked at Verizon for 7 years, so
Oh, okay.
people would always talk about it. Back in
It,
the day.
here it is. Yeah, it's like this. This is like what it's like to be a market maker, and you're just like, I'll take this order, put it here, this order, put it here, this order, put it here. That's what it's like. Someone gets cut off, really. Yeah, I mean that's kind of what it's like today. That's what it seems like. You know, you're getting these market makers. My pen at you're getting orders filled. Like, so they'll come down, they'll fill 87 orders, and then they'll just start running price up. They're not filling, not filling, not filling, not filling, and then okay, they'll start filling some more. You know, and it's like, so the only orders that's why the book is so jumpy today, because they're being cheap, and I think it's yeah, this is Sierra charts. Security Mayfire. Um they're just being kind of cheap. You know what I mean? Because I think that because they're kind of afraid. My uncle's trading eight. Said he got to put at 947. Good.
We've been sort of one-time framing down over the last 3 bars.
Yeah, we definitely have. This is what's scaring me here, though. Beast of all beasts is still being a beast. Tesla's getting smacked right now, though. Oh my gosh. Get Tesla. Tesla's coming down like a stone. If Apple starts turning over, this thing's gonna start rolling hard. There we go. I'll get below that 60. When it gets below that 60, we should get some fear. Let's take a peek at the VIX. The VIX is climbing up at 23 now. Oil 114, gold 196. Nasdaq's only down not even a full percent yet, though. I can't spell Apple, I guess. There's some interest down here. If we fix that poor low. So this is where I want to be careful at, right? So when we break, look for it to either give us good excess or get some volume and get some continuation, right? 830 contracts, we talked about that. Seems like a good spot to be revisited. Now that we're close to it, that's where it makes sense. Are we going to get the continuation to visit that spot? And let's see if this thing comes back up. Look for selling off of that 200 SMA if they bring it back up there. But they're gonna. They're trying so hard right here to break this low. And this is what I'm kind of curious about is, are we going to come below the 200 break and just start to see short covering, or are we actually going to, oh, look at the volume smacking down there. Like that. I get filled, you fuck.
So F, G, and H, that's one time frame and down, right?
Yep. Can't believe Tesla was up 5% and they're flat now. They're about to go red actually. So this is what I'm kind of cautious about. I took profit right before we broke the A low, and my stop loss is right here above that 200 SMA. What I'm cautious about is, are we going to do a little peak below like we did above and then come back into value, because we don't have, a ton of volume coming in here. Vendor the Ninja with the TPO template. I wouldn't say it's better. It's just running the stream and Ninja Trader was bogging my computer down for some reason. I think the way that Ninja utilizes memory while it's running is just not helpful. It wasn't working for my computer. Browser go. Excess. Good volume coming in down here. Still to 68. That's the level I'm looking for. Wild. Apple's starting to come down a little bit. Tesla's up. I mean, Tesla's literally about to hit red. It's red. Boom. Can you guys hear my phone just fucking going? I don't know what's going on Twitter right now. Look at the Fed funds rate is still just chilling out. So the market's finally starting to price some of this in. Is what it looks like. Look at Tesla just fucking, I don't know what happened on Tesla, but it's just getting smacked. It's down up 1%. That's a lie. It says trading on. Yeah, I don't know. It's down though. Obviously, you can see how far it is down off those highs. And Apple's starting to roll over a little bit here too. Oh, 1,000 lots on there. Bottom tick. 2,000 lots. It was 1053 traded on that bottom tick, and they all traded on the bid. I didn't see any orders trade on the offer on that low one.
Man, I had my stop too close, so right after it broke, it bounced up and took me out right before it went down.
Yeah, that's all right. You get a second chance probably. Let's just watch this for a bit just to pay attention if we're going to keep getting. I mean, we got a lot of volume at the bottom. That's typically a sign that they're going to break. It's funny that they came right to the 60 and then stopped. It's almost like they're reading our reports, huh? Because there's really no significance to the 60. That's just kind of the level that I liked. It doesn't like line up with like a previous high or anything. It's just kind of where I was looking at. The number that captured my attention. If it does break that 60, it's probably dropped 47, 48. Starting to get some good volume down here too. Just we're not getting any continuation. Let's say 47, 75, 40 would make sense. Soda Springs. Hello? Like Nvidia. Nvidia's been a leader of strength and not really doing us too many favors today. Or low. That's what this white line is. Starting to see a little bit of a bounce here in Tesla. Apple's still kind of chilling. And one thing I do want to bring up too, I know I'm showing a lot, like especially on these streams, like my Thinkorswim, we're looking at all these charts on TradingView and stuff like that. The main focus for everybody before they start adding some of these other tools, like these correlation tools and things like that, is to focus on the profile, right? This thing could unwind quick if up quick. Remember, this is what we were scared of. This thing gets back above the 200, you're gonna see some capitulation from shorts, and they're gonna start crying. And then H high is a mechanical high. Alex pointed out this is a, or was that TJ? Somebody said that was a VPOC. It's also
I am done.
good done or bad done?
Bad done.
Ugh. All right, bro.
Yeah, I'm hopping off.
All right, I'll hit you up later.
All right, man.
Late.
You out of here, Brad?
I'm probably gonna head out soon. Yeah, I gotta. What time is it? 10:30. I gotta get a workout in. The kids got a minimum day today too, so I don't have as much time to get my afternoon stuff done as I normally do. And we're starting because we're getting ready for the move, so we're starting to kind of go through every room and get rid of all the shit that we don't need, so or that we're not taking with us. Because I'm not moving with like, I mean, my son's got toys from like the day he was born, and he just doesn't throw stuff out. That's his that's the Mexican inside of him. He's just like, I might need this one day. I'm the same way. I'm going through the garage and I'm finding stuff and I'm like, oh shit. Keeping it. The cool thing is the military's gonna move us for free, which is cool. I'm not trying to drive across the country with a big ass truck. Be a pain in the ass.
That's so clutch, yo.
Yeah.
Military's gonna move Brad for free.
Yeah, it's just so much easier. Oh yeah, me and my wife are trying to go through everything to make sure when we unpack, when we get there, we're not just unpacking shit that we don't need. Oh yeah, she's upstairs sleeping on Curtis's bed. Yeah. Yeah.
So what? you got to pack the stuff up in boxes. They come pick it up and move it for you.
Nah, bro, it's like a regular PCS. They just come to your house, pack up all your shit. You actually have to leave everything out. Anything that you want packed, you have to leave it out because they pack everything up. Anything that's boxed up, they'll take it, but they don't take responsibility for it. And then now, with the way that the insurance works for the move, is they actually reimburse 100% of everything that's broken. I was telling my wife, I'm like, well, this computer looks broken to me. Pack up this computer and call it broken when it gets there. I'm like, nah, it doesn't work like it used to. I need a new one. See, this is what I was scared of down here. This thing gets back above that 200. It really starts to see. My wife will and the kids will fly like June, and then I'll drive. So it'll be, take me like a week or a week and a half or something to drive there.
Yo, we're definitely getting up, yo. We're not gonna be far from each other now. We're halfway across the country now, but.
Oh no, we'll be close. Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. We'll definitely link up for sure. I think.
Fill these back in.
Yeah, these singles. Yeah, we are. Yeah, and that's just a kind of a show to us that, this weakness of tempo is just it's just kind of momentum traders getting short below that 200. I mean, we did get below the 60, but we saw some buying and short covering and just popped right back up. So now our levels right here, the 60 is still going to be a key level because that's a level that was the impulse level. Really, we just kind of banged our heads against it till we finally broke it. And it was almost kind of like, okay, mission accomplished. Let me just cover. Now we're trading back up. But yeah, it's just probably going to put us, if we close the distribution, just rotation, will probably get back above that 200. If it's able to hold this single print, there's a good chance that they can keep it for the downside. Doing a little backfilling here too, and it just looks so, it just looks like someone just bought it. And this is, what is this here? A previous value area. Value area high from that previous day. So that makes sense as well. The bounce makes sense as well there, right? Because if we get inside that value area, there's a good chance we trade to the other edge of that value area, which is down here at the 25. And then the 44, that's kind of where I'm looking to, if we get continuation, that would be my target, that 44, that prior point of control. But yeah, other than that, I'm going to head out, get some stuff done. You guys make sure that you are managing risk and sticking to your trade plan, and I will see you guys all tomorrow. I'll be around today, but I'm going to be, like I said, doing a little spring cleaning. So I don't know if I'll be as active on Discord this afternoon. But if you guys need anything, definitely just shoot me a message. And don't be afraid to just tag me and stuff, because I have my Discord like on silent, because if not, it'll just fucking beep all the time. But just tag me, and then that way it'll like tell me like, oh, hey, you have a message. Or just send me a direct message. Yeah, you guys have a wonderful day. Thanks for hanging out, and I will catch you guys later.
Thank you, man. You have a good day as well.
See y'all.